Let's learn some Torah. It's Parshat Naso, and it's a very long parsha with a lot of details, different sections that often can be dealt with for a very long time each. Let me deal with a difficult one today. Let's look at the sotah. So for those who aren't familiar, the sotah is the case of a woman who is accused by her husband of adultery, of having secluded herself with someone else. And the Torah is complicated on this, and I know we're starting the day together, but let's just jump right into it. The Torah is often based on a perspective that is focused on the males in the community, men. So what is true about the sotah is that it is a deeply problematic exercise of power by a suspicious, jealous husband. He can accuse his wife with very little evidence, and she has to go through an ordeal. And sotah is actually not the name of the woman, it's the name of the water. The water that is basically a formula, a potion that is created by the priest that includes a scroll with words on it that are dissolved into it. She is forced to, it's a humiliating thing, go through this ordeal, drink that water, and the text says, if the husband's accusation is correct, her body will show it. Her thigh will distend. It's another way of saying she won't be able to have children. But if his accusation is wrong, if he accused her wrongly, then nothing will happen to her. Now that's only partially true, because look what she just had to go through. Look what her husband put her through. Look what society and the ritual world that was theirs made her do. Nothing happens. A lot already happened to her. So what I wanted to do was name that there are parts of the Torah that are incredibly complicated. We often see the Torah and we kiss it when it walks by in synagogues, and it is beautiful. It is our people's sacred heart, but it is a complicated heart of ours. And often we look back at it and we say, oh, that can't be in there. Sometimes it's because people have been taught to believe certain things by modern Judaism or by the scaffolding interpretation we call midrash. And so it's hard to see through that and to see what the text actually says. For instance, in the Garden of Eden, it says that God's voice walked through the garden. And in Parshat Mishpatim, in the book of Exodus, it says that the elders of Israel saw God's feet. You and I might not know what to do with that. I'm pretty sure they didn't know what to do with that either. But the text says some things that are often very, very surprising. When we look at the text, it can be, using Heather's phrase, it can feel like sometimes you're breathing in water to read problematic texts. And so when we read in this week's Torah portion about the sotah, she is subjected to an ordeal against her will to prove her innocence based on an accusation that had no evidence by the person she should have trusted and who should have trusted her best. I want to offer, first of all, the acknowledgement that text sometimes does this. It is complicated. It isn't always pleasant. We say about the Torah, Drachea darchei noam, v'chol nativotea shalom. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. That is a prayer we have about what religion is meant to feel, what religion is meant to make us feel. It is complicated, but it is important, as Deborah just said, to remember that you are not alone. No one is alone. Some of us, like Debbie, are working hard to heal. Well, sometimes a relationship with text, a relationship with our own past requires that kind of very mindful healing. Let me offer you not an answer, not a solution to the problem, but the way one scholar looks at sotah. This scholar was a beloved teacher, Dr. Tikva Frimmer-Kensky. She was a biblical scholar. She was an incredible, imaginative feminist who wrote prayers and discovered ancient ones. One of her most beautiful books is called Mother Prayer. She recovered ancient Mesopotamian prayers for women who were in the process of fertility practices and birth. She looks at the sotah, and remember what I said, this is straight from the text, that the man accuses the woman of having been secluded with another man. And he accuses her not of being secluded, he accuses her of being intimate with that other person. She goes through this ordeal, and remember what the terms of the ordeal are. If it turns out that his accusation is accurate, she won't be able to have a child. If, however, sorry, yeah, right. If it turns out that his accusation was not accurate, she will be able to have a child. Dr. Frimer-Kensky makes this radical suggestion that if a woman is having a hard time conceiving, she's trying to have a child, this is actually a fertility practice, because all she has to do is seclude herself with another man, not do anything. Make sure that her husband hears about it, so that he gets upset. Brings her through this ritual. Since she didn't do anything while in seclusion, God has to allow her to have a child. Now, do I take this literally true? No. Do I think that it truly answers the problematics of a patriarchal text? No. But I do think that it shows the creativity of Midrash to help us love Torah again, to help us feel like we are no longer breathing underwater. It is a creative solution to an actual problem. Often, we have a hard time acknowledging when the text or society or life itself is complicated. Sometimes it hurts. I just recently watched a video from 1 year ago when a Broadway show is coming back to Broadway. Watching the actors weep with the ability to sing, singing through masks, jumping up and down, being with each other, it reminds me of what we've been through. It's not the same, but the Torah is often something that brings great joy, and sometimes it does not bring great joy. It is up to us to find healthy ways to be in relationship, not allowing it to stand as it is in our heart, because we should never feel defeated by our own sacred soul, by our own sacred center. Torah, through the prism of a living community, is only love, is only health. It can be demanding, but it should never be repressive. It should never be oppressive. A Torah that is oppressive is a Torah that hasn't been held well enough yet, because we are the ones doing the holding. May we never put each other through ordeals, ever. May we see the worth and dignity in each other. May we trust each other. May we be well met by trusting partners. When we seek life, may we be blessed to have it. And may we always seek it. So friends, with this very heavy lesson on Sotah, and with this deep regard for each other, let's go into today thinking about the relationships that we can do something about, that we can hold, so that when we breathe, we feel the air enter our lungs, so that we feel free, we feel loved, we feel healthy. All right, friends, let's have a good day. Let's sing our way into it. Bless you, friends. See you tomorrow.